Hi everybody, this is Aaron Murakami with SidebandGenerator.com. This is the Bedini RPX Sideband generator, and this is a product that he recently created and actually open sourced. There is a Bedini, if you go to BediniRPXbook.com, you can get a book and a 2 DVD set which will walk you through exactly what this is about, and this is the most important, most accurate, authoritative historical disclosure on really what Rife was doing, what the Rife machine was about, what the Rife frequency is about, and its method of operation. Majority of all the information on the internet is either flawed or misinformation and really doesn't have anything to do with what Rife was doing. Now, when John came out with these sideband generators, and on SidebandGenerator.com, there's a short video that I posted there of John showing what these sidebands are on his frequency analyzer, so you can see exactly how it operates, and that's evidence that you're really working with the Rife type technology. And this particular one is using a fundamental frequency of 3.1 megahertz, which is 3.1 million cycles per second. And he made a couple different ones, like a 3.3 megahertz and a couple different variations. And he even offered those. The reason I never offered those is because John told me personally and directly, and was showing me that the strongest sidebands are 3.1 megahertz, and that's the only one that's needed, and it's pretty much the only one that he would use. He only offered the other ones because people wanted the other options, but the so-called Rife frequencies that are hit in the sidebands are not as strong if you use a different fundamental, and so that's why we are only dealing with a 3.1 megahertz fundamental. So basically what we're going to do is this, just a simple run through on how to set this thing up and how to use it is basically, this is a little portable unit. It's fairly small, very lightweight, and you have 3 ports here. One is for a, it says 15 volt DC, but you can use a 12 volt power supply. You do not want any type of wall power supply because you do not want any noise interference from the AC. It's too noisy and dirty. And so, and the center pin is positive, which is very important. And so, the power supply that we recommend, and like what John was using, and it's the only one that we're recommending, is this Talent Cell one. You can buy it on Amazon. This is a portable lithium-ion battery, so it has a lot of hours of running time once it's fully charged. And this is available on Amazon. If you go to SidebandGenerator.com and you scroll to the bottom of the page, there's a link to the different items that you need to make this work, and this is one of them. So this right here is a, and here's the power supply. Since the input is going to be isolated from the DC output here, you could probably have this plugged into the wall while you're using it, but we always recommend that you charge it first, completely disconnect it, and then you can connect this to the sideband generator. This is a 12 volt DC, 6,000 milliamp hour or 6 amp hour lithium ion power supply. So this works really well. Okay, so for connecting this comes with the battery. It comes with the battery charger, and it comes with the this little adapter cable here. And one of the ends here you plug into the battery, and the other end you can plug right in here into the sideband generator. And then when you turn the battery on with this switch, you can see that it's operating properly when you see the light blinking. So this is putting out the 3.1 megahertz. And we still have to add the function, the sweep generator to it, and the electrodes. But this is showing that it's properly hooked up. You'll see a blue light that the battery is on, and this is pulsing, indicating that this is on and is running properly. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off for a moment. The next thing we're going to show you is, this is a HPG1 by Velleman. This is also available on Amazon. There's a link to this as well on SidebandGenerator.com. You scroll to the bottom, there's a link where you can get this on Amazon. This puts out a frequency at the right voltage and the right waveform, and what that does is it goes into the sideband generator, and if you have the fundamental frequency here and you get these other frequencies coming in, and you can say it's kind of bouncing off that fundamental, it's going to create these ripples which are like these sidebands, and you can see what that's about on SidebandGenerator.com by looking at John's video. That'll show you exactly what the sidebands are about. So on SidebandGenerator.com we have the instructions here on programming this Velleman sweep generator. Sine wave only, 2.1 volts max. The sweep frequency you want between 100 hertz up to 120 kilohertz. Setup, the minimum frequency is 100, max is 120 kilohertz. Step 100. Sweep is linear. The speed is 0.1 cycles per second. And sine wave. And when you program it exactly like this, and we're going to walk you through that real quick, and you hook it up, that's going to give the proper sidebands, which will hit all the rife frequencies. And it takes, I believe it's maybe around 12 seconds or something like that for it to sweep through and basically hit all the rife frequencies. So this unit here is about a 1.5 to 2 watt unit, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually a lot when you're talking about RF power. And there's a lot of misinformation out there that, you know, you just have to use the gas tube like Rife originally did, but that's eating up 90% of what's going into it just to light the tube, and then the remainder is what's there to be broadcast off. And so, and this is actually a better way to do it. And if you go to Bedini RPX book.com and you study that book and the DVDs, that will show you exactly why that's so. And also, one of the things John Bedini did, which was one of his last great legacies that he left with us all, is that he basically open sourced this technology. In that book and video DVD, in the book there are schematics. You do have to have some type of RF circuit experience to be able to build it, but the circuit in that book will work, and it will do exactly what this is doing. This is just a little bit more sophisticated. It's more compact, just using all surface mount parts, so it's pretty small and sleek, and it's a little more sophisticated than the circuit in the book. Both of them work, so if you do have RF experience, you don't have to buy one of these. Go to RPX book, BediniRPXbook.com, get that book, and you can see the schematics in there. Otherwise, we have these available here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. Again, this is the Velleman HPG1 pocket function generator. It's a nice little package here, and these are also a pretty good price delivered, even on Amazon. So this has the little output jack converters, and you can actually charge it up with a USB port. So what we're going to do is just kind of open this up right here. And it's got a built-in rechargeable lithium-ion battery, so you get a lot of running time off of one charge. And so if you need to charge it up, you can just take this, you can put it into this jack right here, you can plug that into a USB port, and it'll charge up. You can disconnect it, you can turn it on, and you can see that there's no power right now. So what I'm going to do is take a short break, charge it up, we're going to come back and finish up, and we'll show you how to program it. Okay, so what we have is we got this charged up a little bit. I think we're going to be able to zip through the setup here. It's pretty simple here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to make sure that that waveform is sine wave. And there's 4 buttons here, and you really need to look at the instruction manual because it really tells you exactly how to enter the sweep function and all this kind of stuff. And so what we're going to do is this button goes up to waveform. This goes down through the options, down. Okay, so if we go back up to waveform, there's up and down arrow, so we could just hit the down arrow. It goes to square wave, and then it goes to triangle, and then it's sine wave. You're going to make sure it's sine wave. Okay, one of the other things we want to do is this is the menu button here, the top right button. We want to hold that down, and as it's held down for a couple seconds, it enters the sweep mode that you can program it. So if you look at the instructions on sidebandgenerator.com, first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the minimum frequency is at 100 hertz. Okay, it's already set there, but I'm going to go up and down just so you can see that it's changing it. And if I go up, it increases it in 100 hertz cycles per second increments. So we're going to back it down so that the minimum frequency is 100. Okay, and then the max frequency is 120 kilohertz. Okay, so we're going to hit this button, and that brings it down to max frequency. And the max frequency that we want is 120 kilohertz. Okay, so we're at 10 kilohertz and we want 120 kilohertz, so I'm just going to hold this down till we get up to 120 kilohertz, which is going to be 120,000 hertz, of course. So 120. So if you just hold the button down, it zips through it pretty quick. So 19, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 120 kilohertz or 120,000 hertz. So the step, we want the step to be 100. So if we hit that one right there, we go down to step. You go up or down. Step is 100. Okay, we want it to be linear. We go down. Step. You can do linear or logarithmic, bilinear, bilog. You want to make sure it's LIN for linear. Okay, and then speed, we want 0.1 hertz or 0.1 cycles per second. So we're going to go down to speed, go 0.1, 0.2, 3, 5, okay, 5. So you just hit it a few times and it's going to go to 0.1 hertz, and that's exactly what you want to do. So to exit this, you want to hold down the menu button for a couple seconds, and we're back here, and it says waveform is sine wave, sweep is on, and if we hit this button, this goes up to waveform. If we hit it back down, we go down to this line, and this is the voltage, and it's important that you want to set that at 2.1 volts max. So it's a little over 2 right now. We're going to go to 2.1. 2.13, 2.09171, 2.088. Let me do one more. 2.1108 VRMS, and that's fine right there. So now it's set. It's programmed according to Bedini's protocol, and so it's already sending out the sweep frequency right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this off real quick, and what we have is, remember, we have this, we got the battery hooked up to it, center positive, with this talent cell battery. We have this programmed according to the sweep function, how we want it set according to John's instructions. And then what we're going to do is we're going to connect this to this. Now if you look at the input for the audio in, and even though the sticker says 50 to 150 kilohertz, it's actually 100 hertz all the way up to 120 kilohertz, and sine wave only. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get the little adapter. Now this is the one that I recommend on the website. This is a Radio Shack RCA cable, gold plated. This is this has two, a left and a right. Okay, so what we're doing is we're just opening this up right here. You only need one of these cables here. Most of the RCA cables are going to have a left and a right, which is what this is for. You only really need one. This is actually a friend's unit right here, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to split this apart right here because there's two units and he only needs one. And so we're just going to separate that out like that. I only need one cable right here. So one end of the RCA cable here, let me back this out a little bit so you can see a little bit more, is one end is going to fit into here. It will work without gold-plated ones, but I just wanted to recommend, you know, a good one. I don't even think these Radio Shack ones are available anymore. But you can get any kind of, you know, gold-plated RCA cable. These things are available all over the place. Okay, and then the other end, this kind of has this certain coax kind of jack, but with this you get the little adapter, which is in this little bag right here. Okay, and this is the piece that you want right here. So we're just going to put that in the box, and on the end of this we're going to take this little jack that takes it from the coax style. You know, these are common on scopes and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is push that on like that. Now we can go from RCA to RCA. So we have one end of the RCA here, and the other end of the RCA simply gets plugged into the end right there. Okay. Now the next thing is we have to hook up the electrodes. Okay, and we get a lot of questions about this, and it really almost doesn't matter. So the first thing I'm going to show you is that I got a red and black cable there with the banana plugs on it. Okay, and I got these banana jacks, or banana plugs, down at, these are the jacks, banana jack, red and black one on either side of the power indicator. And this right here are ones that are pretty easy because you just unscrew this right here and you can take the wire and you can strip it and insert it and just screw it back on. But you can get any kind of banana jack that you can connect your own wire to. This kind of wire right here is a 5,000 volt high voltage insulated wire, and the reason I went with this, John actually recommends one a little bit bigger gauge, but he said these will work well. And the reason I like this high voltage wire is because it's real flexible, like leads on a like a multimeter. If you look at the wires and the cables, they're real flexible, and that's what you want. You don't want something stiff. You want this braided kind of wire here, so it's real flexible. And so basically, this is about 3 feet right here. These are about 3 feet long, and so when you have the banana jacks right here, the black, it doesn't really matter which one it goes into, but we'll just plug the black one into black, we'll plug red one into red. And then people are asking, well, what kind of electrodes do we use at the end of the wire? Well, literally, it really almost doesn't matter. And if you see here, I don't have any other electrodes other than just the stripped wire themselves. And so what I do is I keep this stripped, and I basically just apply this near or at any two places for experimental use. And you can have some fancy electrodes that tape onto things and whatever, but I literally just use these and I just hold them in place onto whatever I want this to be applied towards. And you kind of want to keep these wires straight so they actually don't cross over each other. You want to kind of keep them straight. And so if this is sitting out in front of you and you had whatever you're experimenting with in front of it, just try to make sure that the wires don't cross, and then you can just apply this. Now, one other thing you can actually do is you can solder these to two metal plates, almost like capacitor plates, and you can actually sit something in between the plates, and it's receiving the broadcasting frequency. And one of the other things that we've been testing, Paul Babcock has tested a larger spiral antenna, which is printed on a circuit board that worked really well, and John recommended that I build a 6-inch diameter Tesla Pancake coil, not the bifiller one, but just with a single winding. And what I did was, I don't know, this is maybe 30 feet of wire or something. So what I did was I just took a piece of plastic, and this isn't the prettiest job, but it works. And so what it is a single winding that I started in the middle, and I just kind of glued it down to the board. I put a little round piece in the middle to work around. And so what you have is you're going to wind up with a lead in the center of the coil. This is 6 inches in diameter, using this 5,000 volt high voltage wire. And the center wire here is stripped. And coming off the outside here, this is stripped as well. And so what I'm going to do is I basically just take the red wire from the banana jack here, and it doesn't really matter which one you hook it to. The red one can go to the outside wire, and the black one can go to the inside wire. And then what you do is you just place this over whatever you happen to be experimenting with. And with the power of this unit, you want to make sure that you use it for at least 15 minutes. And like I said, it takes, I think it's maybe around 12 seconds or something that it sweeps through all the frequencies. But at the 1.5 to 2 watt power range, you only want to, or you want to make sure you do it long enough. And so the recommended time that we worked out with John is that it's 15 minutes is the experimental time per experiment. And we may look into offering linear current amplifiers that will boost it to 10 to 12 watts. And if and when we make those available for this, it will boost the power up quite a bit, you know. So what that will mean is that you will only need about a 3-minute experimental time. Rife used about 3 minutes, and the reason is because of the power he was working with, and after you account for all the energy getting used up just lighting the plasma tube, you got enough left over to where you need about 3 minutes of experimental time. So 15 minutes for this, and if you're in the 10 to 12 watt range, about 3 minutes. Okay, so once again, the electrodes coming from the banana plugs can be applied directly, just strip like this, or whatever type of fancy electrode arrangement you want to do. And this is literally what I did before I made the pancake coil. And you can put these to plates and put something in between them that you want to experiment with. Or you can take these and you can connect it to the each lead on the pancake coil, and put this coil over whatever you happen to be experimenting with. And so that's pretty much about it. So I move that Pancake coil right here. So again, we have the battery plugged directly into here, and it's not plugged into the wall. Okay, battery's right here. We're going to turn that battery on right there. You see that the light is pulsing. This frequency sweep generator has already been programmed to sweep, and as soon as it's programmed and you turn it on, it's automatically doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's automatically moving and sweeping through all the frequencies. So those frequencies are hitting this fundamental, and it's creating kind of like ripples. We get these little sidebands off of here, and with a 3.1 megahertz fundamental, the sidebands that are hitting the right frequencies are closer to the fundamental as far as the amplitude goes, which means you're going to get the strongest power you can hitting all those right frequencies. And then you got the electrodes right here, and you want to try to make sure that the wires don't cross or anything, and they're kind of spread out good, and you just apply that to whatever you happen to be experimenting with. And that's pretty much it. And so if anybody asks us about well, what kind of electrodes they can use, we're just going to have no comment really, because we're just going to refer you to this video. There is no recommendation. It's whatever you want. It's not critical, except you probably want flexible wire just for convenience. So again, stripped wire, plates you sit something between, or you can do the Pancake coil. And so that pretty much concludes the setup and the how-to on using and experimenting with the Bedini RPX Sideband generator with the 3.1 megahertz fundamental frequency. And so we hope that answers a lot of the questions. And again, go to BediniRPXbook.com so you can get a copy of the book and DVD set. Even if you have one of these, we'd recommend getting a copy of that. For one, it's historical importance. You're going to learn actually what Rife is about from directly from John Bedini, who is the most authoritative expert on exactly what Rife is. And when you see the presentation, you're going to know why and how he was connected to the Rife technology, and why he is the foremost authoritative expert in the world on Rife. And you get to learn about the history and actually see what this is about. And if you want to build it yourself and you got RF circuit experience, there is a schematic in the book. And then sidebandgenerator.com is where these are available. So thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoy that.